Oh my god. Oh my god. You're welcome, Chloe. Can we talk about Ouma? Like, can we really talk about Ouma? This line right here, that Shuichi, Mr. Detective, solve the problem says, bothers me to no end. He's just dismissing his character as being full of lies and nothing else. It's not like Ouma doesn't have motivations. It's not like Ouma doesn't have aspirations. Oh yeah, disclaimer, this entire character analysis thing I'm gonna do is my opinion since we don't have canon proof as to all of his motivations. Because he's kind of meant to be the tough to understand character, but I've broken it down a bit, and I think that I understand some bits. So I'll put them together as best I can, and tell you it in this video, and you decide if you agree or not. I think the main portion of Ouma's motivations, and his fears too, have to do with Monokuma in this game. See, remember Kaede, and what happened to her? She was like, okay everyone, let's get along. We'll all work as a team and we'll show Monokuma what for. So they tried, and then Rentaro tells Kaede, the more you try to get along with everyone, the bigger target you have painted on your back. Monokuma's gonna get you, and he's gonna make you suffer more for helping everyone get along, because that's not the point of this. And what happens to Kaede? Yeah, that's right. She is made to suffer at the hands of the Mastermind, because the Mastermind knows that working together means time limit's gonna run out, and the possibility of there being no game exists. After what happens to Kaede, it's basically cemented in Ouma's head that this is what'll happen. Now, Kaede was kind of meant as a symbol to everyone, but after the trial, everyone was speaking to each other and against Monokuma, and they were like, Kaede, her wish was for us to work together, so we're gonna work together. But with Ouma, he just took Monokuma's demonstration of what happens to Kaede at face value. You do this, this is what happens to you. And so, the big idea is put in his head that you work together, you're gonna be made to suffer more at the hands of Monokuma. If Kaede's technique of make everyone work together didn't work, then Ouma's doing the opposite. Instead of appealing to the group, he appeals to Monokuma. He sucks up to Monokuma and pretends to be evil. See, Ouma tries to get on Monokuma's good side by being bad. The more he acts evil and the more he works against the team, that means things should be that much easier to endure and they won't have to suffer as much as a group. If everyone's getting along and then Ouma comes by and plants a couple seeds of doubt in there, and then everyone's left feeling kind of confused, and Ouma is constantly placing these seeds of doubt. Like, he constantly suggests that Maki is scary and could kill at any time. Now, even though he has a habit of trying to appeal to Monokuma as much as he can, he has a little habit of trying to appeal to the others and just explain his intentions as honestly as he can. But because of his suspicious demeanor, differing morals, or both, no one ever really agrees with Ouma. And he proceeds to take a, well, fine then, attitude. The biggest example of this is that Ouma tries to convince the group that some lies are good, because in his case, he's lying about being pure evil, because he doesn't want the group to suffer as much. So he's trying to tell him, hey, some lies are for good purposes. Shuichi's like, no! All lies are bad. Stop it. And then what does Shuichi do in the fourth trial? He lies about where Ouma was, and where he was. And once Tsumugi points out that Shuichi is lying, Ouma completely flips. Because Shuichi, while lying, never came around to say, you know what, Ouma? Yeah, this actually makes sense. I get where you're coming from. You're right. Some lies can be for good purposes. He never says that. He says all lies are bad and then lies for a good purpose. Almost like, what the frick, dude? And he takes a well fine then attitude with him and completely outs Gonta. Another example of him trying to explain his intentions honestly is when he legit explains the entire working together equals suffering motivation that I've just been going over for the past forever minutes. He just straight up says it to the group, and the group's like, no. And then he goes on doing what he was originally doing. Because if they're not going to listen to him once, then why are they going to listen to him again, apparently? See, he's kind of childish in that regard, honestly. And not to mention the whole fact that Kaede had kind lies, and Ouma has some lies that are within that range too. And Shuichi accepts Kaede's kind lies, and not Ouma's, like, none of Ouma's at all. And he's like, well, what the frick? What the frick? Now, a big part of this is the Gonta thing. The Gonta thing. The Chapter 4 Gonta thing. The entire Chapter 4 freaking Gonta thing. There's a big portion of people out there that think that jerk-faced Ouma, how dare he kill our precious bug boy like this, and maybe that other person that we don't remember the name of. How could he do that? Why would he hurt Bug Boy? Here's the thought process in general. They play the 4th trial, they're like, wow, Ouma's outing Gonta, what the frick? And then, end of the trial happens, and they've seen Ouma at the end of some other trials, like Kaide's trial, where he's like, Kaide, and they're like, oh, fake crying again for Gonta. Real cute, dude. And then Gonta gets executed, and Ouma pulls the whole 180, going, I didn't feel bad for him. And they're kind of just like, yeah, I saw this coming. He's a jerk. What else is new? But that's where you're possibly mistaken based on my interpretation, in my opinion, and I'll explain why. See, when he met with Monokuma to reveal the VR plan, he didn't know that it was going to be used on Gonta, from what I see. Because he's super vague about it. And you might think, oh, he's being vague because we're seeing it as the audience, but, like, that's the entirety of their meeting, for one. And for another, that's totally an Ouma thing. It makes total sense, because it is solid fact that he only found out that Miu had specific techniques to aim for killing him once they got in the VR with everyone else for the first time. So he didn't have much time to plan ahead, you see. That's like saying that Leon planned to kill Sayaka a day before the stuff goes down. No, it was a surprise. He didn't know, and he acted on impulse. Now, granted, Ouma's impulses seem a little, ooh-hoo-hoo, I planned this all along, but he lies about everything. It's easy to pull off. So, when he met with Monokuma to reveal the VR plan, he had a faint idea that he was going to incorporate the motive somehow, and pitched the idea to Monokuma with the promise that things will be more interesting this way. And then push came to shove on Miu's end once they got in the VR, and Ouma used the motive to ensure Gonta as a last-minute bodyguard. Yeah, Miu, throws a curveball in his plan, and he has to use Gonta, because, hey Shuichi, come murder Miu for me. No Kokichi. Bad Kokichi. Hey Kaito, no Kokichi, I'ma punch you in the face. Hey Himiko, could you kill Miu for me? Oh wait, never mind, you're like 12. Hey, Kiba, would you come kill Miu for me? No, Ouma, you're bad. Go away. Hey Tsumugi, would you kill Miu for me? As much as I don't like her humor, I plainly don't want to, or some BS like that. Hey no. This is so bad. Hey Miu, would you kill Miu for me? No? Gonta was the only one that trusted him, because everyone else saw him being a complete jerkface at some point in the game, and it clicked in their head, don't trust this dude. But hey, you say, why did Ouma have to make someone kill? Why didn't he do it himself? Well, because of the thing with the avatar, but we all know that. What you really meant to ask, and what I phrased wrong just now, was, why didn't Ouma just leave? Why didn't he just run away and go, Miu's trying to kill me, red alert, run away from the crazy? Well, if no one trusts him in the first place, do you really think they're gonna trust, oh, Miu's trying to kill me? If he managed to run, like, all the way outside, he wouldn't be able to pass the wall.
Shit!
Like, the only people that are there are Shuichi, Tsumugi, and Gonta. And Shuichi and Tsumugi wouldn't believe him. And he can't just run around half of a map forever trying to run away from Miu. Now, of course, he knew what it meant. Ouma knew that either everyone else would die or Gonta would die. Now let's think of it from Gonta's perspective. Do you think Gonta would want everyone to die except for him, being none the wiser as to why he was the culprit at all, without getting any kind of answers and having all his friends die? Or do you think Gonta, the gentleman, selfless dude, would rather sacrifice himself like a gentleman, selfless dude? That's right, he'd rather sacrifice himself like a gentleman, selfless dude. So basically, Ouma knew that Gonta was gonna die. So, what does he do? Well, he goes to the telephone room with Shuichi, and then there's a ooh, nice Ouma sigh moment. Ooh, I'm eating that up. No. I mean, maybe, but in this case, I don't think so. He is distancing himself from Gonta. That's what's going on. Right after the thing occurs, right after, the deed is done, and they all meet up at the bridge going, something happened, something happened. Remember, how does Ouma act? Angry for, no reason, seemingly. And then later, when they're investigating, he says, oh, Gonta, what do you think? Not that your opinion matters. Real surprised that your opinion suddenly matters, but what do you think? He's trying to make Gonta hate him. And he's trying to emotionally distance himself from Gonta. Because, what was that girl's name? Kaede? And what was that guy's name that was super attached to her up to the very end and had, severe emotional trauma because he didn't let go of his connection for her and because he loved her up to the very end? Shuichi. So, according to Ouma's mind, what'll happen if I am just nice to Gonta and we're both thinking that the other is a pretty cool person? Sadness. Lots of sadness. Lots and lots of sadness. So he's trying to get Gonta to hate him. He's trying to get Gonta to hate him as much as possible. And what's the easiest way to get someone to hate you? So Ouma's trying to act like a complete jerk to Gonta. Not only does he act harsh towards Gonta, but he pretty much completely ignores Gonta in favor of Shuichi. So of course that leads us to the phone scene, where seemingly out of nowhere, Ouma's little chibi walks up to Shuichi's chibi, is like, hey Shuichi, stop hanging out with dumb old Kaito and be my friend instead. I'm not gonna say anything about ships, cause that's not what this is about. This is about Ouma's character and Ouma's motivations, not about who he loves or who he's crushing on. Obviously, the stop hanging out with Kaito and hang with me instead isn't out of nowhere. Ouma hasn't liked Kaito for a while. Ouma's been interested in Shuichi for a while. Why? Ouma knows that Shuichi is thinking detective things. So if he goes, oh, so-and-so, or maybe that was a lie, or maybe that was a lie, who knows? Well, who knows is like a, here, come answer my question kind of statement. So Shuichi tries to answer the question sometimes. We see it in his inner monologues. He's like, was that a lie? No, but that couldn't have been. Or like, oh, that could have been. And Shuichi would, get somewhere. Even though he'd kind of stop himself going, I don't know. He'd get somewhere, not just instantly dismiss Ouma. So basically, Ouma's ranking system for people who to trust and hang out with is, number 1, Gonta, apparently, from what I see. Because Gonta trusts unconditionally and believes in second chances. And he just needs someone to just pat him on the head and be like, it's okay every once in a while. So second on the list is Shuichi, because Shuichi questions him. Shuichi actually tries to figure out if he was lying or not sometimes, which Ouma wants, obviously, because if they just disregard him, then it's an instant off switch, well, fine then, I guess someone will be with you kind of thing. That being said, third place and below is everyone else. I'm not sure to what degrees, obviously, because that's not what I'm here to talk about. So Gonta, his first place, is gonna be dead soon. So not only is he trying to emotionally detach himself from Gonta's unconditional, acceptance and second chances. But, he can't lie to himself, He needs a buddy. He needs someone to hang around. Someone to at least think about what he says. So who's second place? Shuichi. But who's Shuichi hanging out and training and exercising with all the time? Kaito. It's always that it's not going to be a Kaito and I can be your friend. That's not going to work, obviously. So, not only is Ouma trying to detach himself from Gonta, he's trying to attach himself to Shuichi. He's trying to attach Shuichi to him, and he's trying to detach Shuichi from Kaito. So then, you remember the, well, fine then thing I talked about? Well, it comes into play here, because they're going through the trial. Ouma knows that Gonta's gonna die, but throughout the entire investigation, who was Ouma trying to, stick around? Oh yeah, Shuichi. All the while shooing off Kaito from Shuichi's side, going no, don't trust him, he could be the killer, man. You don't want to hang around him, So Ouma tries to appeal to Shuichi a lot. He brings back the kind lies thing. Ouma tries to, tell him. He's like, kind lies, man, kind lies. And he kind of just, throws it in little chunks throughout the trial. Doesn't work for Shuichi. And then Shuichi lies for the sake of a kind purpose, even though Shuichi's still claiming that all lies are bad. So it's basically rejecting Ouma completely as a person, because lying is such an important tool to him that it's basically part of him now. Ouma's like, well, I see how it is, mister. Gonta did it. So why would he out Gonta like this? I just told you, he's trying to emotionally detach himself from the Gonta. And with dragging the trial out so he has to look at Gonta's face during the trial more and more and more, help Ouma? He's trying to detach himself from Gonta. The longer he spends in the vicinity of pure Cinnamon Bun Man, the tougher it is to detach himself from pure Cinnamon Bun Man. So he's trying to detach himself from pure Cinnamon Bun Man by ending the trial as quickly as possible. Like, okay, this is what happened. I know everything. Listen, he doesn't have a second choice anymore. And guess what? First choice is gonna die. But first choice is looking pretty sympathetic right now. Is looking pretty empathetic right now. Is looking like a pretty nice dude right now compared to the dude that just rejected my entire being. But Ouma can't think that. He can't think that Gonta's a good person, because he'll go back to Gonta again. So he's like, okay, second fave rejected me. First is gonna die. I can't go back to first. And I don't have second. I don't have the rest, because they were never an option to me. So I need to get rid of first, or else I'll end up going back to first, because first is seeming pretty empathetic right now, and I can't do this. So he tries to rush it. It gets to the end. Even though his options are pretty much gone, he makes one flimsy last effort to appeal to the others. He lies about the Killing Game Buster's intentions. He pretends that the outside world was his reason for it, when his actual motive was that Miu was targeting him and he was gonna die. And under the umbrella of the Killing Game Buster's lie, he sprinkles in bits and pieces of the truth that Miu was targeting me, I couldn't do anything but ask Gonta. He knows full well that he could have just been killed by Miu instead of dragging Gonta into this. And when Kaito scolds Ouma for pushing everything on the Gonta, Ouma's probably thinking, yeah, I could have just been killed by Miu and let it be that. So basically, Ouma's not too happy right now. He is really not too happy. Not only was his entire character denied by his second favorite, not only is first favorite gonna die, but he is collapsing onto himself, because he knows that instead of first fave having to go through all this when he was innocent, he himself could have just done it. And it's not like during this chapter 4 thing he's been thinking that he's been doing the right thing. He knows he's been doing the wrong thing. But at this point, it's all accumulating into one big emotional snowball. So he's thinking, wow, I'm a horrible person. And then Gonta forgives him. Ouma still has thoughts of doubt in his head that he deserves punishment. So Ouma asks for himself to be punished. But Gonta stops him and accepts the entirety of what was supposed to be Ouma's burden, and Ouma's burden alone. This was supposed to be Ouma, okay? Gonta couldn't have had anything to do with this if Ouma didn't do anything. Ouma completely dragged Gonta into it, and I explained his reasons for dragging Gonta into it, and Ouma knows those reasons for dragging Gonta into it. But nevertheless, the fact is, Ouma completely dragged Gonta into a situation that Gonta had no part in. A lot of the other characters are trying to look for a person to blame, but not Gonta. Gonta just sees it as it happened. It just did. And because Gonta believes that Ouma deserves a second chance, he asks Ouma to be friends with the others. Ouma throws in a white lie and accepts. Now, of course, Ouma has no intention of going through this. He tries a little bit. It's not like he lied entirely. But by that point, you know, like, second fave gone. None of the others are really an option. First fave is going to be gone. And the fact that, you know, this whole trial has boiled down to, this is you, Ouma, everyone knowing that Ouma is the perpetrator for all this. You really gonna think they're gonna give Ouma, the person who dragged Sweet Cinnamon Bun Man into all this, a second chance? No. No, not really. Gonta gets executed. And the look on Ouma's face after the execution speaks for itself. Ouma is trying to push Gonta away in every way, so that Ouma wouldn't feel sad about Gonta dying. Yet Gonta forgave him and held no grudges at all. Ouma's emotional attachment to Gonta came flooding back in all at once, because Gonta forgives him all of a sudden. So of course all of his emotions for Gonta come flooding back, and he's like, well, frick, he was even greater than I thought he was. What is this? But now Gonta's dead, and everyone's asking Ouma what the secret of the outside world was. It's not just a, hey, by the way, what was the secret of the outside world? You know, you can wait, you can tell. No, it was a, okay, Ouma, tell us. Hey, jerk, tell us. Come on, dude, Gonta died, and it's all your fault, tell us. But of course, this is all bad news, because Ouma can't say, give me a second, I feel sad. Because what does that mean? That means that they think that he cared for someone. And that would mess with the Monokuma thing. Because Monokuma is already kind of, you know, Ouma, I thought you said you were going to use this to make things interesting, yet you seem kind of sad right now, buddy. I wonder what's going on, you know? Monokuma's getting on his tail right now, and everyone else is getting on his tail too. They keep pestering him, they keep asking what the secret was. And then, our boy Kaito used the phrase, if you really cared for Gonta, then tell us. And Ouma snaps. He snaps. He flat out lies about holding any kind of emotional attachment to Gonta at any time. His emotional state, being that pushed to the edge, made his lie about hating Gonta that much more believable. He's already really upset and messed up. So all he has to do is take all that upset and messed up emotion and put it into, haha, I'm crazy. He just needs to transfer it over. And he does that all the time. So that's why he seems completely bonkers when he's doing this. Because he's super upset, and it's his biggest lie ever. The lie being, I hated Gonta, I didn't care for him at all. And so many people in the fandom take this at face value. Why are you taking it at face value? It's Ouma Kokichi, you people! He's trying to convince them, look how horrible I am. Look how horrible I am. Overflowing malice. Look at me. I hate everyone. I hate everything. I did it just because I wanted to. The way he lies is, oh, like, I don't know, random example. I'm feeling hungry for pancakes today. Oh, I'm feeling hungry for waffles today. Maybe me feeling hungry for pancakes was a lie. Maybe me feeling hungry for waffles was a lie. No, just kidding, I was feeling hungry for pancakes. No, just kidding, I wasn't feeling hungry for pancakes. No, maybe I could go for some egg and cheese sandwich right now. Or maybe that was a lie. Who knows? So do you really think Mr. Labyrinth-bearing Lie Man would just go, oh, I'm sad for Gonta. Just kidding, I didn't feel sad for Gonta. And just, I didn't feel sad for Gonta being the truth? No, that's not how he does it. So, in Chapter 5, he kinda goes into self-destruct mode. And what better way to go out with a bang than to take the damn game itself that he's been trying to end with him. This isn't some kind of big sudden thing that he decides to act like the mastermind all of a sudden. See, his act evil to appeal to Monokuma plan was to avoid suffering at the hands of Monokuma, but also to paint himself as the mastermind in order to end the game, because if everyone knows who the mastermind is, then what's the point in continuing? He had been planning to seem evil from around some point in Chapter 1, but at some point in Chapter 2, he decides to act as the mastermind to end the game. But since Gonta couldn't catch Kirumi or Ryoma, the second case happened. And since Anji's murder was unforeseen by Ouma and the Caged Child song happened despite Ouma's attempts to stop it, it had gotten to the point where Ouma was forced to act even more evil than before to seem like the mastermind. He's already, like, upping the evil in Chapter 4, going like, oh, come on, someone get killing already, I'll do it, blah ha ha ha, look at me, I could be mastermind, who knows? But then Miyu has to come along and go, oh, virtual reality, everyone come on board, come on, it's urgent, no more killing game, come on, fun, happy party time. And Chapter 4 happens. After Rantaro and Kaede died, and he couldn't do much about it, after Kirumi, Ryoma, Korokyu, Anji, and Tenko died, when he was planning to do something about it, then Gonta and Miyu die, and he's forced to act really evil to pretend he didn't feel sad for Gonta. So now he doesn't have a choice but to act like the mastermind, since that's like the only other step up from acting like he hates everyone and everything. So like it works in his favor in terms of this whole act like I'm the mastermind plan, because it like goes seamlessly into the whole thing that happened after Chapter 4's trial. But he doesn't like it because of the stuff that's happened and because of, like, the 9 people that have already been sacrificed when it could have been just, like, 1 or 2. He has, like, a last chance kind of thing. His last chance to appeal to the others is him saying he's the mastermind. Well, what's that supposed to resolve? I thought that he was trying to appeal that he was a good person. No, he's not trying to appeal that he's a good person. He's trying to appeal to everyone to stop the game. Because what point is there? I outed myself as a mastermind. You see the outside world. What point is there in anything? And of course, that makes everyone spiral into a deep sadness. But what does that mean? Oh yeah, no more game. Game does the stop. No more. Stop game, end. Over. He tried to end the game without any kind of murder or anything by revealing the outside world to them. And Kaito was his backup plan. He took Kaito with him as he was trying to make his final appeal to everyone else that there's no point in the game. He's like, okay, I'll just take this dude and we'll cool off. Because Kaito is like, you know, flaming ball of rage at that point. And flaming ball of rages could possibly kill someone, so we can't have that. We need to separate him from the others. We need to stop him from going, okay guys, let's kill Kokichi, or something like that. Because that would lead to the game continuing. And he doesn't just take Kiibo, he doesn't take Smoog, he doesn't take Maki, he takes Kaito. Like, as of right now, Kaito is the one that's kind of tying the group together now. And he's someone that Maki and Shuichi had the most emotional attachment to. Also, a big note is that the whole fun and boring thing might be some kind of personal complex, but I think that he takes that personal complex and latches it on to sucking up to Monokuma. So his last line would probably be interpreted as, like, a personal complex hidden under the guise of, I'm doing what Monokuma wants. Now you can kind of see that I'm beating around the bush as to whether Ouma thinks that the Ouma and Kaito plan will work or not, or whether it will fail and Shuichi will solve the mystery. Like, he's had this plan, he's, like, done it so intricately, but this, like, entire time it's kind of been also building up to, like, wow, Shuichi's a great detective, wow, Shuichi can basically do anything. So I guess it's his faith in Shuichi's detective work against his faith in Kaito being able to execute this plan that Ouma entirely set up. And even though Ouma entirely set this plan up, like, it's Kaito. Like, even though Ouma seems to put faith in Kaito from the fact that he tells him, like, somewhat personal stuff in this last monologue of his, I'm kind of just having trouble seeing Ouma, like, believing that Kaito, out of all people, can go through with this plan. So I'm really not sure if Ouma's final moments were thinking, I hope Shuichi proves it wrong and somehow ends the game in my place, or I hope my plan works and the game gets ended that way. Or if it's nothing works and the game's not gonna end, I failed, I give up. It could be either of those three. So basically, I don't know how Ouma thought things were gonna turn out. It could be either of those 3 options I listed. But just because I don't know what he thought in his last moments doesn't mean I don't know, like, anything about his character, because stuff about his character can be, like, picked apart and analyzed with some time and thought. But Shuichi over here dismisses his entire character as a lie just because he doesn't understand what Ouma thought in his last moments. And that's some BS. That's the point I wanted to make in this whole video, is that just because Shuichi didn't know what Ouma wanted in his last moments doesn't mean Ouma himself was a lie or some BS like that. Think about it a little bit, Shuichi. God.